Welcome back to Trip Talk Tech. We got a show for you today. We get to chop it up with the CEO and also Vice President of Seniors for Seniors organization. Please help me welcome to the show both Eric Peterson and Jason Powell. How you guys doing today, man? Thanks for joining us.
We're doing all right. Thanks for having us.
Hey, no problem.
Really good to meet.
Now, I know my we a tech show, and I know sometimes we go a little outside of the bounds of tech, but we bring it all back, and we'll bring this one back. But today, if you have a loved one in a care facility, I mean, to tell you, I ran across these guys on LinkedIn, and what I was reading on it was just I couldn't believe what I was reading. It seemed so simple, but definitely, I think an industry that they'll make some disruption in once everybody you guys catch on, and then also for you seniors out there, you seniors. I know we got a lot of guys and gals with some college basketball dreams and other dreams, or just college in general. To get out of high school, you gotta have these service hours. You gotta have these service hours going, and I guess today they're going to talk to us about a way that they mended the two environments together to try to come up with a solution to help both sides of the party out. They're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to talk about maybe some programs that they got going, and just hear about this great concept. So with that being said, let's just transition right into it. We don't even have to have no pleasantries. I think it's a great program. Can you describe what Seniors for Seniors is, and kind of why you doing it?
Want to go for it, Jason? Want me to?
You give the rationale why it began, Eric. Yeah, that's
All
cool.
right. Well, back in 2016 or so, I started as a caregiver as a community, as a caregiver at a QMAP, and I was daily interaction with these seniors every day, and I always felt something was missing. And talking to people and observing what's going around me, I thought what people were missing was connection. I think we all know that in high school, you sometimes you be, or for friends, you can be around a lot of people. You super lonely though, and that's what I found a lot of people were missing was connection with other people. And I wanted to do something about it, so I thought about it for a while, and then also thought about the youth. The youth have the same challenges in high school. And maybe around the right people, feeling lonely, or they think they belong with this one clique that they maybe seem to be cool to be with.
Hmm.
Necessarily think they don't belong there, or if they do belong, they don't really feel like they do. Maybe they're more of an introvert. Like I'm a big extrovert, you know. So
Yeah, I can see
I can
that.
feel
All
them, I can feel for them, but I can't really feel for them. So I will put. I thought about it. So I put these two together, and just in the isolation and loneliness aspect, they give each other's remedy as well. Then I thought if I can make it further, if I get someone the same career interest or the same focus, I say you mentioned about basketball. So we got them play basketball. And there's a senior played basketball, likes basketball.
gotcha.
There's a connection. Or say we have someone said, like Jason's a professor. We have someone want to be in education, connect with Jason,
Gotcha.
and then doing so, those things will go diminish because they validate each other. The senior
Now,
adults feeling, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but you made a good point there, like how you match, the seniors up with a kind of like profile. How does that matching happen? Is that and again, I don't want to cut you up, but again, I think that's a heavy piece right there. How do you match the kids up to make a good fit where it's beneficial for both sides? It sounds like.
Well, for the high school kids, they have technology in front of them most of the time. Or go to the library if they want to. So go to the library, go and my website, seniorsforseniors.org, and they subscribe. Automatically get an email saying, Keith Tripp, or whoever the email address may be, subscribe. So I'll go back to you and say, hey, Keith, whoever your website, who it may be, and say, hey, this is Eric for Seniors. I understand you signed up. I know if they're about to from your web, if you have an email from a community or whatever, I'll say, hey, tell me more about yourself. I'll send you these forms to you. If you don't get back to me, I'll put you on an Excel sheet. For the senior adult, same thing, but some too, the senior adults in the senior communities or family members, they give me a name and a number. I'll call the person up for me. I'll call them up and someone might like on my board, somebody would call them up saying, "Hey, I understand you want to sign up for this program," and we just two together, and then say, "Hey, you know what? Jason looks like you're going to go Keith, and Keith to go to Jason. I'll ask both of you. What do you think of this connection?" They're both the game, and after that, I'll give them a three-way phone call, this is a conference call, and say, "Hey, Jason, this is Keith. Keith, this is Jason. Give him some support, give him some directives, and say, youth, this is your program to learn. Take it on. And here's some tips and advice, and then they often encourage them to get talked 2 or 3 more times, but schedule some times in between so there's connection. But if they do, we'll do it all over again, and then the magic just
Wow.
happens from there.
And how long and obviously I know you just starting this, but I guess once these kids make a connection or seniors make a connection the other way around, um, do you, and again, I know you haven't been doing it forever, but do you find that these relationships last, like even past the, the senior portion and life goes on and I made a connection to somebody?
I'm hoping so. We haven't done that far down the road yet, but I'm
Hmm.
hoping so. I'm hoping that later on, I'll take some people my last interviews. I think it's like a thing like crystal ball. So you, my senior adult, I call you up, say, Keith, you know what? I'm bumming out my classes. I'm eating ramen. Book up my girlfriend. You speak to me before it talks, then you can go through this. I've been there.
Exactly.
And then something the chances they may have, even in high school, they may not tell the parents they have a good upbringing. Or they do have a good upbringing, but they don't tell the parents, say, you know what? I'm bombing on my class. They may be stressing out. You know, we all been through there in high school,
Yes.
you know. And then, you know what? The senior adult said, you know what? Have you looked at tutoring? Have you looked at this? The things they're not even thinking of, they give them that life focus to them already. And then you listen to them, whether this is a parent or another a student, counselor, or maybe even a sibling. That person, they invested that time into that person. It's a love relationship.
I'm gonna be honest. When again I first kind of read up on what you do, and obviously for me, growing up in my culture, and just my surroundings that I grew up in, I'm gonna be honest. I was lucky. I had my mom and dad available to me at my household almost 24/7. A lot of my friends, a lot of my next door neighbors, a lot of people in my neighborhood, that wasn't the case. My dad was dad for a lot of kids, and my mom's, my grandmom, same way, and vice versa. We all used each other moms and dads and tried to eat and here and there and everywhere. But I think even something like this, when I think about the scope again, I look at it like, man, I can transform a community. We always say this problem of, and I don't want to call it a problem because I've seen single mothers do amazing jobs with their children. But in society, we see that as a systemic problem. But I think this is a good solution, right? Again, to your point, it's a lot of older people that's played the game of basketball. It's a lot of people that have done a lot of things that I'm in right now. To your point, bad grades. We've all had them. But a
That's right.
girlfriend hurt our feelings, and we don't even want to live the next day, right? So school is the last thing on our mind. But for somebody to tell us, hey, son, that's going to pass, or hey, pick yourself up off the ground and keep moving, or hey, this is not the end of the world. I know it feels like it, but the day after tomorrow will feel even better. I think to have that in communities where somebody might not have a father or somebody that may not had anybody to look up to. Um, yeah, man, like you said, I think that gives you a different type of confidence because if nobody ever was around to tell you you can be something, you'll believe all of the hype that you see on the internet and everything else. I see all of this gold and shiny things, and they have it so good. So that means my life is horrible. When somebody, like you said, can just give me a hug and say, "Guess what? All of that's fake, son. Keep working."
We'll
So
talk.
yeah, right. So like I said, I think of the reach too, man. I think this could touch a lot of different places where the need is great.
I think you raise a brilliant point, Keith, about different themes there. On the one hand, as you say, about older people who may have lots of experience of sport, basketball, in terms of their life experiences or relationships that
Hmm.
they can pass over in the context of coaching or mentoring with regard to younger people. And those
Hmm.
older people who may be in care settings, in care homes, or may live
Hmm.
alone or may live with families but still feel lonely.
Hmm.
Um, are then creating more meaningful relationships with younger people, and helping those younger people progress in those communities. And that strengthens those communities and makes them more resilient. And it also gets rid of the concept, which has been an artificial divide between young and old for many, many years. And that's about ageism, isn't it? And dismantling them. And, you know, dismantling ageism is as important as racism, sexism, disableism within society. And the Seniors for Seniors program obviously tries to sort of bridge that, and then say, actually, you know, this is about people and people learning from each other and getting on with each other and then developing each other. And that correspondingly, as you quite rightly nailed, develops communities and strengthens them. So, and I've seen that in the UK from Eric's concept. And obviously, comparatively, you know, it's an amazing model that I've tried to promote in the UK, with regard to, you know, communities that have been fractured by that concept of us and them, and it gets rid of them, and that's why it's so transformational for me. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think so. Even and you made a good point. I think from the senior side, their community side of it. If I'm lonely, or again, I've witnessed it my own self, where my own grandmother has lost her kids before she's still here, and she's lost her immediate kids. So again, if she didn't have grandkids around, what did she do? You know, and then I being hanging around her myself now, getting some time to hang around her. I see too, she's a person. You know, even though they're older, they have things on their mind. They love to do the same things they did 40 years ago. You know, they still love to do those exact same things because they're a person. And again, I think seeing that side and being a little bit more, I guess, closer to it now, trying to do a little bit more of that, spending a little bit more of that time. I see like, wow, and they want to give back. They want to give you that knowledge. They want to tell you what you. Hey, look, I'm watching you. You're not really stepping right, but you know, I'm letting you live. But I'm just saying, if you just add a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you're gonna come out on top. And you're like, okay. So again, I just I love the program, guys. I think it has a lot of reach. Um, I like the idea, and I'm just wondering this, like, what are some of the things do you think the seniors get more from the youth? Because again, I think, like you said, with that ageism, and I know we always think when we're younger, we so much superior than the older, and you know, older these young people don't understand, they don't listen. But in your experience, what have you seen? Like maybe even from a young point of view, they've taken this toward a senior, and this teen is like, okay, you know, different way of looking at life, and vice versa.
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, younger people are also mentors to older people as well, because obviously there's many sorts of skills and forms of knowledge that older people still learn, want to yearn to learn, like lifelong learning never ends.
Hmm.
So, you know, and part of lifelong learning for older people is about learning new things about, say, technology that younger people may be adept to, that older people may not necessarily know about, for example, say. And obviously you can learn a lot from younger people in terms of, you know, the latest sorts of issues, and then translate that knowledge so that older people themselves have a little bit more of an understanding about, you know, what's happening with regard to the latest forms of technology, whether it's Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whether it's WebEx, you know, and how they can interact with different people, in order to create more meaningful connections to address, you know, say someone who's in a care home but doesn't know how to communicate externally, but a younger person might be able to say, well, actually, have you thought about this? So that they're mentoring older people as well. So we see
Hmm.
it as a two-way process that's very dialogical rather than what top down or one way. And that's the beauty of it, is that it's about developing self-confidence for both. It's also
Greatest.
about developing skills for both, and it's also about developing, you know, the stepping stones so that people feel that they're building their own capacity to develop as human beings, irrespective of their age, whether they're young or whether they're old, but they're learning from each other. And that, from the program, is as an academic for the last 30 years, and you can tell from
I
what
feel it. I feel it. I feel it. You're
what it's
getting
done for me.
passionate.
It's what it's
And
done for me.
I'm,
Um,
I, I'm with you though. I really I was going to ask that, but you took care of it. I think I was going to offer that up, but I think that's perfect, right? Nobody wants to stop learning, and again, I think with the technology, obviously that's my technology slide, but uh, those kids they born with the phone in their hand. It's almost attached to them. So Facebook, the email, like you said, I'm sure my grandmother. I know the phone itself, I call her and she's talking to me in her ear, but on the speakerphone. And it's like, again, just how to work the buttons, how to do that. And that takes such a load off because it's so much anxiety when the phone rings. It's like, I got to pick this thing up. How do I do it? And, again, when I got the education or somebody that I trust or somebody that, hey, we swap stories. Hey, he's not perfect, and I'm not perfect. I can feel like, comfortable to come and say, hey, I don't know how to work this phone and not feel like, oh, this old person, look at you, old school, so again, I just see where this program, you're building trust on both sides. You're allowing people to step out of their comfort zone. Because that's another thing. Again, when we get older, we like they say sometimes that we set in our ways, right? So don't bring me no Facebook, don't bring me no Gmail. But again, if this person to me is next to me is willing to be a little vulnerable, all right, yeah, I don't know how to do this. Show me, So again, I just think you guys are knocking it out the park with it and just the concept and the idea. Well, one question I have for y'all, as far as next steps in funding, how do you guys go about it? Because you are a nonprofit, I do know that. Is it all private? Is it open for anybody? If people wanted to give to this cause, how do they do that?
Now come, right now we have making nothing right now.
Okay,
Now we are open. We're always open to donations. Well, we haven't made anything yet, but we want to make sure people know that we're for real too. We want to be authentic. I think not putting anybody down, but I think a lot of people are now with the COVID kind of doing their minimum to get by. Jason and I
understood.
and my board have the approach. We want to go full throttle because our mission is driving us right now. When this
Gotcha.
is driving us, there's people changing their lives, or people saying that hey, these people are authentic. We're here for the right reasons. They're gonna see that.
And
And
that'll get rewarded all the time, man.
yeah,
Effort.
and when people start seeing that, some of the people that have in the community say, hey, we're free. I'm hoping later down the road, the CEOs of those companies say, you know what, this is a good program for my community. I can spot this guy some money every year, or this community and so forth. Or somebody, you say you're another company says, you know what, that's person my mother in the community center, or my son in their it's gonna be by word. So I think
There you go.
I think a lot of things is gonna be by mouth. I want this one to be the only thing saying, hey, here's this company. Give me some dollar. They want to say, you know what, this guy's legit. His board's legit. They're trying to do a good thing, and the city, in the communities, hey, this is happening. They go on to participate because they catch the vision, catch the fever. Like
Hmm.
you might think of that time until later down the road. I was telling Jason, I think last week, it would be really cool if they later down, these high school kids or even younger might be walking down the street, seeing a senior adult go to the car,
Hmm.
struggling. First, they might, think, you know what, I'm too busy, or hey, you know what, that's an old person. They got this. But someone that's been through the program or hear about the program or has been through it, they can have that mindset. They're like, I'm jumping in to help that person out. And then that's going to go all over the place. And then next generation is going to keep learning that, service is a cool thing. Like, I think even things in the keep, I think Jason did too. Once you learn a service, you love it. It's
Exactly.
addictive. You see, hey, okay, I'm going to, do this. Okay, I'm going to do this. Is it something you see a service opportunity? It's contagious. Just because you're doing a scene for seniors, it's because you're doing a service that's is valuable to you and to society. You be seeking out those opportunities to do more outside of scene for seniors. And it needs to be worldwide, that's going to be a concept that everybody's in one community helping each other out. Will be really awesome.
I mean,
Cool.
there's the nail on the head, what Eric's just said. It goes beyond boundaries. There's no boundaries to it. And that's the whole point, is that this affects every culture. You know, because obviously all cultures are trying to sort of understand different ways and means by which they can become sustainable. And how you become sustainable are the groups that you've got within it. And part of that is about understanding each other. And with young and old in particular, as two examples, what better way of understanding in terms of bringing them together and saying, what can we learn from each other? Now, there's different ways and means by which, as Eric said, one, this program at the moment is voluntary. You know, it's entirely free. Obviously, we are open to donations and obviously philanthropy, you know, and philanthropists who are interested in wanting to invest to be very, very welcome having that conversation. But also, I mean, you know, for potential funders in order to explore the program and look at ways and means by which it could be applied to other different types of communities, and evaluate the effectiveness of younger and older people working and learning from each other, and the social value you get from that, the impact that has on communities, is also a worthwhile funding endeavour. And that is something that we're trying to explore as well with say universities, as well as, say, for example, say with you know, other organisations who represent research. You know, so we are looking at and exploring different funding models, but at the moment, you know, the essence of it is it's a very values-based organisation that at the heart of it is literally about humanity and what can we actually learn and develop as human beings from each other. And then obviously the issues to do with, you know, psychology, well-being, feeling confident, and talking about the themes, whether it's sport, whether it's about education, whether it's about, you know, a whole range of different themes and topics that young and older people have in common, that they can learn from each other, and mentor each other, is the uniqueness of this program.
Piggyback what Jason did too. I thought when you were saying that, I was thinking about too race too. Like, you know, we're all, Jason and I compared to you, a different race.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you ask me. You know, like, I love people, you know, and feeling that they have, you know, a stigma or something they see on TV or whatever, gets another race, you know, saying, you know what, maybe the barrier for that person, and they get together and they found that that's just a stigma they thought they imagined in their head. That's to break down mobiles. You know, like, for instance, me, I don't know what it is. I think it's from it's kind of a silly story about me. I'm moving the outside here a little bit. But I think it's really the Christmas story, right? The guy with the crazy red hair. For a while, I thought, you know, redheads were kind of scary. Redhead guys are kind of scary as a kid. But, you know, well, back in the day, Adam Barrow, the mission church from my church for a while. He's my first partner I was with. He had red hair. So I'm thinking, oh, shoot. I was in my 20s or something too. I didn't fear, but it's kind of the unknown, because I didn't know to me, redheads.
That's all our fears, right?
We found it, you know. So those stereotypes that people have different races or different ethnicities or lifestyle, whatever. Those boundaries break down too. You know, then they have, like, for instance, we have a lot of different communities that now are having, you know, people are changing. Say that.
Definitely, and I agree with both of you. I think, to your point, it's no race or any kind of boundaries in this. Even like you said earlier, I think Jason said, even against the whole COVID and staying away 6 feet from each other, this is kind of goes back to community. This just goes back to old fashioned. It's not about me and my riches and all of this other stuff. It's just, hey, you're a human being. I see you in the corner, not talking to nobody but the wall. Do you need anything? Do you just need to talk? Because again, we talk about mental health a lot, even on here. You know, I'm a real big proponent of mental health. And to your point, Eric, you know, hey, racism, ageism, all of these things contribute to mental health, and we stop it, we stop progress all the time, right? You said it, that age versus age. That just stopped me from taking wisdom from all of these generations and bringing it to mine, growing it, and then passing it back now. And again, society does that to us, right? I don't want to talk to Eric because of race, right? So I don't get any wisdom on that side, right? You know, and then if you get old, I don't want to talk to you about life about that. So now I'm in this teeny weeny weeny box, and I'm trying to fight through life for the what now it's probably cut me down to 60 years because I stressed out all my life and worried about things I didn't have to. You're solving a bigger problem. And to your point, I think when people have this conversation and realize how deep it really is when they sit back and really think about what you're doing. So again, I salute you guys. I really just think it's a great program. I just want to be the first to say that I said it first because I'm telling you, when this blow up, I want to play this one back because I think this will catch when things open back up. But before we go, I can't let you go without asking you. I asked all of our guests. You seen the Jordans? You mentioned the Jordans when we first got on. Favorite pair of sneakers of all time, and this is the first time I had two guests back to back, so this should be good. I get to get yours first, Eric, Mister Extrovert.
All right. A little shy. I don't have any J's myself, but I do like the J's. You know, I
My
like
man.
what he represents because Michael Jordan and how Kobe puts it. He's a master of his craft. Time two though, he has like
Hey,
I'm
you
telling you,
just
we're
made
talking.
some friends, Eric. You made a whole bunch of friends with that one. So, Eric, your dope meter went to 10 on that one. You just
I
said
think they're
I went to the Jordans. You just went to the Jordan game. We gonna tag you in
preaching for him.
a bunch of Jordan tags, hashtags. Your page will be jumping. Believe me. Jason, what you got, man?
Well,
I see.
what can I do? But add to that, I'm a big Michael Jordan fan for many, 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 many
There
years.
you go, my
So,
gosh.
I'm like, honestly, that's coincidence. So I'm massive fan, massive fan.
Hey, I visit Europe a lot. We actually on my real day job, we have a place in Belgium, so I get to come over and go up to Brussels. So yeah, I
Oh
get to come
shit.
over there a lot. So I know Michael Jordan is loved over in Europe, so I can believe that one, man.
Definitely.
Hey guys, again, I just thank you. Like I said, I think what you're doing is great. I appreciate you explaining the effort a little bit. We're going to try to get it out there, and hopefully, other people can see maybe where it fits for them. And again, seniors, if you need some time and you want to not just get time, it's easy to go just do something, but you want to get some time. But while you're spending the time, maybe get some real nuggets, get some thoughts about life. Look into the program, see how you may can fit in. Vice versa, if you're a senior, you just got so much knowledge and love to give, but nobody to give it to. Check in. You never know. They might have somebody to help you out. But guys, Eric, Jason, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining Trip Talk Tech.
Oh,
Till next
thank you.
time.
It's been a pleasure, Keith.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Salute you guys.
Gotcha.
Take me, man.
Have a good one.